Minasama konbanwa. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Japan America Society of Houston's 52nd anniversary virtual celebration. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed so much about our lives in recent months, and in these extraordinary times, community and cooperation have served as the fundamental pillars of our global response to our shared challenges. It is in this spirit of solidarity that we come together tonight to celebrate the forging of a resilient alliance between the United States and Japan. Not only is 2020 a year commemorating the 160th anniversary of the first Japanese diplomatic mission to the United States, 2020 marks the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II, as well as the 60th anniversary of the signing of the U.S. Japan Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security. These multiple milestones in the U.S. Japan relationship have long served as our foundation for our work promoting, in Houston, Texas, meaningful, lasting understanding between Japan and America. Our mission of fostering people-to-people connections has never been more important, and JASH has worked to transition our programs in language and education, arts and culture, and business and policy into engaging online activities. Thousands have viewed our webinars on a variety of topics that range from Japan's longest-serving prime minister to one of the largest collections of Edo period art. Moreover, students in JASH's Japanese language program are now learning from home, and over 600 hours of Japanese language instruction have been presented online since the pandemic began. These efforts to innovate have led to increased traffic to our website and over 300% growth in our engagement on social media portals. I encourage you to follow us on social media and visit jas-hou.org to view our program offerings. The Japan America Society of Houston's programs are made possible through your gifts to our annual anniversary gala. And this 52nd anniversary virtual celebration is truly vital to our health as an organization. Your contribution is needed now more than ever to help us continue our mission to promote and enhance the U.S. Japan relationship. If you are willing and able to support our efforts as a leader in U.S. Japan exchange, please help us today with a donation by texting JASH to 91999 or by contributing online at jas-hou.org/resilience. By providing even a small donation, your support will go a long way as we work to foster important connections between the two countries. Heartfelt gratitude is owed to our many contributors who have already made a financial commitment to supporting our mission to advance the mutual interests of American and Japanese peoples. Special thanks go to this evening's presenting sponsors, the Friedkin Group and Gulf States Toyota.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us today. Each and every one of you is essential to our mission of connecting Houston's diverse community, local businesses, and individuals to advance the interests of both American and Japanese peoples. We also appreciate the many individuals and organizations who make the important work of Japan America Society of Houston possible. Our silver partner sponsors: the Friedkin Group, Gulf States Toyota. Ally sponsors include Deborah Tsuchiyama Baker, Kathy and Glenn Gondo, Mitsubishi Corporation Americas, Mitsui & Co. USA Inc., MUFG, Sumitomo Corporation of Americas. Friend sponsors: All Nippon Airways, Anna, Karari Foundation of America, Linda and Bill Wayland, Nanako and Dale Tingleaf, Public Blueprint, Satake, Shintech Inc., Special thanks also goes to Vision Production Group, Republic National Distributing Company, Royce Chocolate, Sake 1. We would also like to acknowledge our elected officials, the men and women who represent Houston at the local, state, and federal level, for their dedication and commitment to our region. Together, we are committed to our mission to foster the people-to-people connections that forge resilient ties.
We greatly appreciate the generosity of all our supporters. Makoto ni arigatou gozaimasu. Japan America Society of Houston is certainly only as good as the people who support us. And JASH is fortunate to be guided by a committed board of directors under the leadership of President Laird Duran. While juggling the many responsibilities he has as Vice President, Government Relations, and Senior Counsel for the Friedkin Group, Laird has been committed to developing new opportunities for JASH. Laird, I turn the evening over to you.
Thank you, Patsy. It is an honor to gather with everyone virtually tonight from the offices of the Friedkin Group and Gulf States Toyota. In 1969, our founder, Tom Friedkin, would partner with Japanese automaker Toyota to launch a bold new business distributing cars throughout Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Gulf States Toyota has since become one of the world's largest new motor vehicle distributors and operates a large Toyota technical training center right here in Houston. I'm standing in front of two iconic Toyota vehicles. One was built a long time ago in Japan and brought to this country. The other was built in San Antonio by Texans. These trucks are a physical representation of just how far the U.S. Japan alliance has come and how invested Japan is in the United States. The strong relationship between the United States and Japan remains very important to the businesses of the Friedkin Group and the entire automotive industry. Just as business interests first brought our founder and Toyota together over a half a century ago, economic ties remain a pillar of the U.S.-Japan relationship. Japanese companies play an integral role in U.S.-Japan economic development, forging economic partnerships that feature substantial trade and investment flows. And never have the economic interests of Japan and Texas been more intertwined than they are today. Japanese companies are important investors in all sectors of the Texas energy industry and have also made important investments in equipment manufacturing as well as chemical production. There are now more than 400 Japanese companies operating in Texas, making up the largest group of foreign-owned enterprises in our great state. And these companies employ more than 60,000 workers. There are 110 Japanese firms that operate 245 subsidiaries in the Houston area, and Japan accounts for nearly $10 billion in trade with our city. Houston is also home to the U.S. headquarters of Daikin, Kuraray, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, Satake, and Shintech, just to name a few. In addition, Itochu, Marubeni, Mitsubishi, Mitsui, and Sumitomo, Japan's 5 biggest Sogo Shosha, or general trading companies, which Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway invested in earlier this year, all have offices in Houston that rival the size of their New York counterparts.
As we have seen today, Japan's involvement in the greater Houston area benefits both our economy and our culture. It also demonstrates why forging a resilient alliance is so important. In 1972, Chiba, Japan was designated as one of Houston's 18 international sister cities. Since then, so much has happened to strengthen the ties between us. Trade between Houston and Japan is a big and growing business. In fact, Japan is Houston's 9th largest international trade partner, and the Houston-Galveston Customs District is the 9th busiest gateway for U.S.-Japan trade by value. And the value continues to grow, from $3.5 billion in 2010 to $9.2 billion in 2019. In 2017, total exports to Japan from Texas were valued at $12.6 billion, which generated more than 55,000 jobs. In addition to trade, multiple other business relationships with Japan have been facilitated in Houston. 18 Houston firms operate 27 subsidiary locations in Japan, and 110 Japanese firms operate 245 subsidiaries in the Houston area. Of Houston's 16 foreign-owned banks, 3 are from Japan, so it makes sense that the Houston airport system offers 2 daily nonstop passenger flights from Houston to Tokyo. More than 6,200 people living in the Houston metro area were born in Japan, and more than 49,000 Japanese Americans live in Texas. Japanese visitors spent $1.5 billion in Texas in 2017, and that same year, the state hosted 424 Japanese students who spent $11.1 million. A resilient alliance is an important bond and one that will continue to strengthen over time.
Japanese companies in the greater Houston area came together in 1967 to form the Japan Business Association of Houston. Now, with over 100 companies, the Japan Business Association of Houston works to promote friendship among its members, education for the next generation members, and partnership opportunities within Greater Houston. The Japan America Society of Houston is fortunate to have the Japan Business Association of Houston as a trusted partner. We are also grateful for the Japan Business Association of Houston's collective commitment to give back to the greater Houston community. 2017 saw the Japan Business Association of Houston contribute to recovery efforts in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. And this year, as Houston and Harris County faced a surge in COVID-19 cases, the Japan Business Association of Houston pooled resources to provide support. In addition to contributing $50,000 to 2 COVID-19 relief funds, the Japan Business Association of Houston delivered hundreds of meals to frontline medical workers. In view of the generous monetary contributions made to both the Greater Houston COVID-19 Recovery Fund and the Harris Health COVID-19 Response Fund, as well as support of Houston's frontline workers, the Japan America Society of Houston wishes to honor the Japan Business Association of Houston with the 3rd Annual Houston-Japan Friendship Award. Accepting the award on behalf of the Japan Business Association of Houston is our friend, President Minoru Aizawa, who is also the General Manager of the Houston branch of Mitsubishi Corporation Americas, and the Senior Vice President and Head of Mitsubishi's Natural Gas Group.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to congratulate JASH as it celebrates 52 years of promoting friendship and mutual understanding between Texas and Japan. My name is Minoru Aizawa, and I am the president of the Japan Business Association of Houston, which is so-called JBAH. I also serve as general manager of the Houston branch of Mitsubishi Corporation Americas. On behalf of JBAH, I would like to thank JASH and welcome all its members who are present at this year's virtual gathering. As you know, the theme of this year's gala is Forging a Resilient Alliance. With the spread of COVID-19 all over the world, suffice to say it has been a very difficult year. Who could have imagined that 2020 would bring such a slew of challenges? COVID has not only impacted our personal lives, it also affected our business operations and organizations like JASH. Many events such as the Japan Festival and Houston Chiba Sister City Youth Ambassador Exchange Program were canceled. Meanwhile, thanks to video conferencing technology, we have been able to run many events virtually and successfully. I was pleased to learn that JASH continues to hold virtual Japanese language classes and Japanese language speech contest. Difficult times like these present a call to action. In the wake of COVID-19 crisis, JBAH donated a total of $50,000 to the Greater Houston COVID-19 Recovery Fund and the Harris Health COVID-19 Response Fund. In addition, JBAH was able to provide support to frontline medical staff at Bentov Hospital and LBJ Hospital through the delivery of hundreds of Japanese bento meals. These combined donations reflect not only JBAH's dedication to the reinforcement of recovery efforts in the face of immediate challenges, but also to our steadfast and enduring commitment to the greater Houston community. JBAH is truly honored to receive the Houston Japan Friendship Award and be recognized for our contributions to the community. I would like to take this opportunity to tell you more about JBAH. The Japan Business Association of Houston was established in 1967 as a nonprofit organization to promote goodwill, trade, and commerce between Houston and Japanese companies. As of today, there are 113 companies and 759 individual members that make up JBAH. The JBAH's primary purpose is to act as a commercial, industrial, and trade association. Our subcommittees follow business activities in steel, general merchandise and chemical products, machinery and electronics, transportation services, finance and trade, and energy. We also serve as the parent organization of the Japanese Educational Institution of Houston, which we called Nihongo Hoshuko, which is a Japanese language supplementary school that convenes at the Westchester Academy for International Studies. 458 registered students spend their Saturdays at Hoshuko, learning age-appropriate Japanese school curriculum in the Japanese language. The majority of the students who attend Hoshuko came to Houston from Japan by virtue of their parents' business assignments. As the students will eventually return to Japan, our goal is to ensure they can easily readapt themselves to the Japanese educational system. These students will surely recall with fondness their time in Houston, and their positive experience living in the U.S. will make them good ambassadors, further strengthening the crucial relationship between the U.S. and Japan. In addition to promoting friendship among Japanese companies in Houston and serving the next generation of Japanese business leaders, the JBAH is dedicated to promoting partnership with the American counterparts within the Houston community. Over the years, JBAH and JASH have worked together to enhance the presence of Japanese business and Japanese culture in Houston. JBAH has long supported the JASH-organized Japan Festival Houston, collaborated on biannual Japanese garden cleanups, and helped JASH judge the annual Texas State Japanese Language Speech Contest. Our members have also enjoyed JASH's signature business and policy program, Japan Currents Houston. We are pleased that we have been able to work with JASH to build on interest in Japan and contribute to the resilience of the U.S. Japan alliance. JBAH is proud to be a part of the building of a better Houston and the building of better lives. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the program.
As mayor of the city of Houston, I am proud to join the Japan America Society of Houston in celebrating its 52nd anniversary. In Houston, it is our diversity and inclusion that make us strong, and we are proud of our international communities. Houston is enriched by the presence and contributions of its citizens of Japanese descent, and it is appropriate that we recognize their important role in the cultural, civic, and commercial life of our city. I commend the Japan America Society of Houston for their efforts to promote mutual understanding through the sharing of Japan's distinctive heritage and culture with the Houston community, especially through their involvement to represent our sister city relationship with Chiba City, Japan. I would also like to congratulate Consul General of Japan in Houston, Hideo Fukushima, on receipt of the J. Thomas Shifa Leadership Award. I also want to congratulate the Japan Business Association of Houston on the receipt of the Houston Japan Friendship Award. These deserving recognitions reflect Houston's enduring relationship with Japan, which are supported by the efforts of the Consul General and the Japan Business Association of Houston. I thank you all again for your support, and I appreciate your dedication to building a better Houston.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bob Harvey, and I'm President and CEO of the Greater Houston Partnership. I'm very pleased to join you in this virtual event celebrating the Japan-America Society of Houston's 52nd anniversary. I would like to thank Laird and Patsy for the opportunity to address the group and for their incredible leadership at the Japan-America Society. Tonight we celebrate the resilience of the U.S. Japan alliance and honor those who've made important contributions to strengthening ties between the two countries, particularly those here in Texas and the Houston region. The resilience and sense of partnership have been particularly evident during the COVID pandemic. I would like to extend a special thank you to the Japan Business Association of Houston for their tremendous support of the Greater Houston COVID-19 Recovery Fund and the Harris Health COVID-19 Response Fund. I would also like to recognize the Honorable Hideo Fukushima, Consul General of Japan here in Houston, for his exemplary efforts to create an environment supportive of the full range of ties between Houston and Japan. As we all know, Houston and Japan share a special relationship. Houston is widely regarded as a great global city with one of the most diverse populations anywhere in the United States. Our economy is deeply tied to global trade and foreign investment, and in fact, Houston is the top metro for exports in the U.S. Japan ranks as Houston's 9th largest international trade partner, with trade between the two regions valued at $9.2 billion in 2019. In terms of foreign direct investment into the Houston region, we've seen tremendous activity from Japan in recent years, with many notable Japanese corporations expanding their presence here. As Houston's front door, the partnership provides a platform to connect foreign companies and entities with members of the Houston business community and facilitates initiatives that expand investment and trade opportunities. Over the years, the partnership has worked closely with the Japan Business Association, the Japan-America Society, and the Consulate General of Japan to welcome numerous Japanese delegations to Houston. We also support business recruitment activities and lead international trade missions to Japan. Earlier this year, we had planned to lead a trade delegation to Japan alongside Mayor Turner. While travel restrictions shifted our plans, we're excited to be moving forward with key visits virtually with our partners in Tokyo and our sister city of Chiba next week. On behalf of the Houston business community, I want to thank all of you for your investment in our region. We look forward to our continued efforts to strengthen trade and cultural relations between our respective regions and to many more years of friendship. I hope you have a great evening. Stay well.
Japanese business truly matters to the greater Houston community. The strength of the U.S. Japan economic relationship is due in large part to the substantial reservoir of goodwill created by the close grassroots ties between the American and Japanese people. The Japan-America Society of Houston is proud to play an important role in fostering people-to-people ties through a wide range of events that enhance knowledge of Japan and promote mutual understanding. Since 1968, when the Japan-America Society of Houston became the first organization of its kind in Texas, dedicated to promoting friendship between the U.S. and Japan, JASH has been pursuing education, business, and cultural initiatives. Throughout the year, JASH hosts business conferences and lunches, individual cultural events, and social and networking engagements. Our annual signature events include the two-day Japan Festival Houston, held in Herman Park, the Texas State Japanese Language Speech Contest, and the Houston Chiba Sister City Youth Ambassador Exchange Program.
For more than 50 years, the Japan-America Society of Houston has been advancing the mutual interest of American and Japanese people. We've done this by providing networking opportunities and important people-to-people exchanges, as well as by sponsoring programs in language and education, arts and culture, and business initiatives. Though 2020 has been a difficult year, the work we do continues, and the heart of the organization is strong. At the backbone of our organization are our volunteers. With only 3 full-time and 1 part-time staff member, we rely heavily on our volunteers. In fact, since the beginning of the year, volunteers staffed all of our events, putting in a total of nearly 820 hours. Volunteers have coordinated a wide range of cultural and networking functions, business lectures, and lunches, all with the primary goal of enhancing attendees' knowledge of Japan. Among the many events we have sponsored or hosted this year are the 2020 Japan Currents Houston Conference and the 2020 Houston Regional Japanese Language Speech Contest, our 31st annual. The pandemic forced our Japanese language program to transition to a virtual learning platform. We offered 48 courses in Japanese and English language taught by 5 different instructors. Thus far, we have offered instruction to nearly 360 students. The 2019 Japan Festival of Houston hosted a crowd of approximately 30,000 and featured 57 exhibitors, 5 main stage acts, and 15 martial arts schools. That event alone required the efforts of some 230 volunteers. Last year's JASH annual fundraising dinner raised more than $267,000. Funds are used to help Japanese expats adjust to living in Texas, to support our Japan in Your Classroom visits to schools, as well as ad hoc presentations and workshops in the Houston Chiba Sister City Youth Ambassador Exchange. Every year, we conduct more than 90 co-presentations with other organizations and raise funds for those in need. Our campaigns have benefited hospitals, kids' meals, and flood relief both in Houston and in East Japan. Everything we do is to further the Japan America Society of Houston's mission of connecting Japanese and American people. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting our mission.
Activities organized by the Japan America Society of Houston have long been bolstered by the support of the Consulate General of Japan here in Houston. The consulate works to create an environment supportive of the full range of Japan's security, economic, political, and cultural ties with America, building strong relationships throughout Texas and Oklahoma with federal, state, and local officials, as well as with a myriad of commercial interests, non-governmental organizations, service clubs, academia, artistic groups, and others. The Honorable Hideo Fukushima was appointed to lead the Consulate General of Japan in Houston in 2018. Over the past 2 years, Consul General Fukushima has taken on a truly outsized role in promoting, elevating, and strengthening the partnerships, friendship, and bonds between Japan and Houston. Drawing on a diverse and globe-spanning career as a representative for the Japanese government, Consul General Fukushima has worked tirelessly to advance the shared vital interests and values between the United States and Japan. From laying the groundwork for Governor Abbott's trade mission to Japan in 2019, to wielding a rake alongside community members during Japanese garden cleanup days, Consul General Fukushima has approached every engagement with the same level of earnestness and enthusiasm. Now, on a personal note, my wife Helena and I have enjoyed spending time with Consul General Fukushima and his wife Kaori, and we truly value their friendship. When we look back on this crazy year that we call 2020, we will remember the good times that we shared early on, like sitting courtside and cheering on the Houston Rockets together, or spending time together checking out the best new vehicles that both America and Japan have to offer during the Houston Auto Show. Now, in recognition of his exemplary efforts to create an environment supportive of U.S. Japan people-to-people collaboration, the Japan America Society of Houston wishes to honor Consul General Fukushima with the 3rd annual J. Thomas Schieffer Leadership Award for his contributions to the strengthening of the Japan-America alliance.
Well, thank you very much, President Duan, for your kind introduction for me. Well, good evening. This is Hideo Fukushima, Consul General of Japan in Houston. Well, let me first thank JASH, Japan America Society in Houston, and the people of Houston, and its wonderful Japanese community. I'm so grateful for everything they do together, and I'm happy to celebrate tonight virtually this wonderful gala. Well, on that score, I also would like to pay tribute to Japan Business Association of Houston, JBAH, who is other awardee in this gala. They have made so much things, so many good things to promote the bond of economic friendship between Japan and Texas, Houston over the years. Tonight, I'm so honored to accept this most prestigious award, Ambassador Schiffer's Leadership Awards. And at the same time, I think JASH deserves so much praise for so many things, so many achievements they have made over the years, particularly during this pandemic. Well, especially during this year, we had a hard time with this pandemic rampant and social distance measures and masks and so on. But thank God, JASH has been here for us. And in spite of these difficult challenges posed against the resilience of us as a community, they continue to work tirelessly to promote the friendship between the members. This year, 2020, marks a significant milestone in the long history of a Japanese community in Texas. Looking back, well, at some times, at some junctures, roads were bumpy, perhaps, but at every step, there were many good people with the goodwill, with the determination and vision to overcome challenges for the better future. And together they build a thriving community here in Houston and Texas. For example, last year I had a chance to visit the city of Pearland, that's south of Houston, for celebrating its 125th anniversary. And on my way there, one of the roads among the roads I took was named Maekawa Road. And I asked the city people, why this name? Why Maekawa? And they told me about this person, Maekawa-san, who was one of the first migrant who came to Houston in 1904 to start rice farming. Well, rice is not grown there anymore, but people remember that, and the people remember the contribution made by Maekawa-san to the city's prosperity. Therefore, his impact is still felt there, and it's memorized in the name of the road. Well, in spite of people like Maekawa-san, first generation, and people like other people like him, well, Japanese Americans who followed him at some juncture had a hard time, particularly during the Second World War, through the experience of internment. And that was the time that the Japanese Business Association in Houston was founded in 1967. And also at that time, JASH was founded. Well, it was right after the two nations agreed upon the Japan-U.S. Security Cooperation Treaty, which cemented the most robust alliance in the world. Ever since JASH was founded 52 years ago, they quickly became a catalyst for promoting all the aspects of the relationship between Japan and Texas, including business, social, culture, bringing in more and more exchanges. So Japanese community here in Texas, Houston, is as thankful as ever for their contribution, as well as people of Texas, community of Texas, Houston, embracing us so warmly. Today, we have more than 11,000 Japanese people in Texas, including thousands in Houston area. The pace of growth of population over these recent years, 5 or so years, has been so high, more than 10% annually. That's amazing growth. So Texas is attracting more and more Japanese people and the Japanese business. Well, so far, Japanese business and the workers has been mainly engaged in the sectors like energy, manufacturing, and services. Houston has transformed into a growing, dynamic city with a cutting-edge high technologies in the sectors like medical or renewable energy, AI, and so on and so forth. And Japanese businesses appreciate opportunities for growth and understand industries like this all are leading up to the bright future, even beyond this pandemic. Well, people around the world really learned a big lesson, learned a lot from this hardship posed by COVID-19, and now they seem to be seeking a future socio-economy which is more resilient and sustainable, socially and economically. And I believe that given that the strength of Texas and Japan in the hard work and innovation spirit, we can pave the way together towards such future in the years to come. A few weeks ago, we witnessed the great news of launching of SpaceX, NASA crew heading to the International Space Station with 4 crews, astronauts, including a Japanese Soichi Noguchi of JAXA, who is the only foreign crew. He is together with amazing American astronauts colleagues, including Houstonian native Shannon Walker. We are so excited. We are so proud to see that Noguchi-san is there, our good friend. And they are the first ones aboard on the new private SpaceX Dragon. So that really shows that our partnership knows no limits, and even gravity of Earth cannot keep it down. So once again, well, as I look back, great legacy of the history of Japan and Texas, also pondering the bright future, I really want to reiterate my gratitude, heartfelt gratitude to JASH and Houston community for enjoying friendship. And I believe, given that we have made so much accomplishment in the past, we're going to be able to make more and more accomplishment together in the years to come. I thank you.
Good evening and congratulations to Japan American Society Houston, JASH, the Fukushimas, and Japan Business Association of Houston. I'm very happy that JASH is honoring the Fukushimas today. We were together in DC about 10 years ago. He was in charge of public relations and helped me a lot during those days. So I have a very fond memory and gratitude to Fukushima-san and Kaori-san. The last time I visited Houston was about 2 years ago. It was on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of Japanese tea Urasenke Tankokai. What a great event it was. Really enjoyed it. After that, I had the occasion to visit Herman Park Japanese Garden. What a beautiful place. Then I had some time before the dinner by Consul General and Mrs. Fukushima, so I wanted to go shopping. I wanted to buy some clothes for my grandchildren. They took me to a big shopping place, and I was able to buy so many cute clothes. The mothers were so jubilant when I took them to Japan and gave it to them. But before going to the dinner, the ladies reminded me that if Consul General asked me, where did I go shopping? Say, Target. Sounding French, but of course it was Target. I think by that I know a little more about Houston than Mr. Fukushima. I think he hasn't gone back to the Target yet. Japan and United States has been a very good friend. So we sent the best people as consul generals to important cities, LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, and last but not least, Houston. That's why I didn't get it. And Fukushimas are very lucky to have Houston, and also Houston is very lucky to have the Fukushimas. Japan-US relations is, as I said, very important. And I would like to congratulate Americans that the long-lasted election is nearing to the end at last. During the election, I was often asked, which side does Japan prefer by Americans? My answer was, it's like a Christmas gift. You don't say anything till the day. On the Christmas day, you open the box and cry out, oh, this is just what I wanted. I think Japan and the United States share the common values, democracy, freedom. And Japan needs United States. United States needs Japan. So our relations are very stable. I think I can be very optimistic about our relations. And moreover, Texas, Houston, Japan, all the eyes of Japanese business are now targeted on Texas. I'm sure that Texas will continue to be the cornerstone of Japan-US friendly relations. I thank you very much, and congratulations again to JASH, the Fukushimas, and Japan Business Association, Houston. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Consul General Fukushima, for your friendship and for your leadership. These are times of extraordinary resilience, and having the support of close friends has been an essential source of strength. It is fitting that tonight we celebrate the resiliency of the U.S. Japan alliance. Because of the two countries' combined economic and diplomatic impact, the U.S. Japan relationship has become far-reaching in scope. Not content to rest on the laurels of the achievements of 60 years of the U.S. Japan Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security, The alliance is now forging new connections, going where no alliance has gone before.
Good evening, everyone. I am Akihiko Hoshide, JAXA astronaut currently in training for spaceflight next year. It is my great honor to join the Japan-America Society of Houston tonight in celebrating its 52nd anniversary. On behalf of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA, I'd like to congratulate Consul General of Japan in Houston, Hideo Fukushima, on receiving the J. Thomas Schiefer Leadership Award, and the Japan Business Association of Houston, the Houston Japan Friendship Award. おめでとうございます。JAXA has an office right outside of NASA Johnson Space Center, and we have seen firsthand, in many occasions, the contribution of Consul General Fukushima and the Japan Business Association of Houston, strengthening the cultural and economic ties between Japan and the United States. JAXA is very grateful for their understanding and support in our collaboration with NASA in different space programs, such as for the International Space Station, ISS, and space exploration. Only a few weeks ago, one of my colleagues, Soichi Noguchi, became the first non-US astronaut launching on a US commercial vehicle, Crew Dragon Resilience, built by SpaceX. He is currently serving on board the ISS conducting various science experiments for humanity as a member of a 7-person international crew. We have received tremendous support during his preparation and launch from both Consul General Fukushima and the Japan Business Association of Houston, as well as from our Japanese community in Houston. Japan has been a partner in the International Space Station program since its beginning in the 1980s. We have a Japanese science module called Kibo, or Hope. We have successfully launched 9 unmanned cargo vehicles called Konotori, or Stork, to resupply ISS. These and the JAXA astronauts are Japan's contribution to the International Space Station program. This year commemorates 20 years of continuing human presence on board ISS, and we look forward to extending our partnership with NASA and the United States, as well as other international partner countries, to Moon, Mars, and beyond. Based on my personal experience as an astronaut, it is my strong belief that humans can accomplish amazing things when we work together, even in challenging times like we all face today. The sky is not the limit. Thank you.
We can all marvel at the new frontiers of the U.S. Japan alliance. Thank you for reminding us that when we work together, there is no limit to what can be achieved. The U.S. Japan space collaboration is a testament to the resiliency of the relationship between our two countries. Thank you for joining us tonight as we celebrated the resilience of the U.S. Japan alliance and honored those who have made important contributions to strengthening ties between the two countries in Texas. The Japan-America Society of Houston is grateful to be able to continue fostering people-to-people connections and forging a resilient alliance. If you would like to further support our efforts to bring the peoples of Japan and Texas together, please text JASH to 91999 or by contributing online at jas-hou.org/resilience. 皆様、本日はご参加いただきありがとうございました。We look forward to seeing you in person soon. Until then, we wish you good health and high spirits. Thank you and good night.